All right, everyone, we're coming to you today to tell you two different stories. They're going to be in two separate videos, though, but or I should say, I've been kind of putting off telling this story for the past couple of months. I keep saying in a video that, oh, that's a story for another day. So if you've caught that the last few times that I've said it, the time is now. We're going to tell the story right now, today. So, the first story that we're going to tell you is the day that we, what would you call it?
I don't even know what story you're gonna tell.
Well, I'm talking about when we broke the furler and the mainsail.
Okay. Okay.
How would you, what would you title this video?
Naively going out and selling in 24-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just say this. When you don't know, you don't know, right? Like, I would say ignorance and sailing is
Are not bliss.
no, this is like a very bad combination. And I would say, we've had some very expensive lessons. We've learned some very hard lessons early on in sailing. And I would probably say this is probably the biggest one, the first one. And maybe even the most expensive one. So anyway, so we are thinking, so it's the week of. Let's start with that, okay? So it's the week of, and we're just, we're like excited. Oh, we got a boat and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to go sailing and whenever. And so we're kind of texting each other back and forth like, oh, this is what the wind looks like today. Oh, this is what the wind looks like tomorrow. And I remember sending you a text, and it was a screenshot, and it said like the wind was going to be like 24 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both like, oh, like that's some great wind. Like we should go out there. The wind's going to be really, really strong. That's going to be great for sailing. Was my thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so us not knowing that that's probably too much wind, right? That's too much wind to be sailing in. And yeah, definitely. And so we're like all excited to go out there in 24 knots. And so sure enough, that's what we do. Like we got together whatever supplies we were going to be taking with us that day, and we're walking out to the docks. And I remember there was this older guy. There's this older guy on the dock that day, and he was like, "You guys going out?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said it all excited, like, "Yeah, we're going out." But now looking back, I realized that was more so like a warning, like, so you guys probably don't want to be going out in this amount of wind. It was more so like a cautionary question, not like him asking me something obvious. Obviously, we're going out. You see that we're going out. But I think he was asking it in a cautious kind of way, like, hey, are you sure you want to be going out in this amount of wind, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it seems like now to me looking back. And so, me being naive, thinking like, yeah, I'm excited to go out in 24 knots of wind. And so we go out, and like almost immediately, I would say, like I remember we're just getting past, the danger zone, the buoys, and we're just now kind of out in the open lake where we would normally be putting the sail up. And I remember Craig passing me the helm, which, I was not ready to take at that time. I had my camera in my hand. That's what it was. I had my GoPro in my hand at the time. I hadn't yet set it up. It was recording, but I had not set it where I wanted it because I was going to put it like up to kind of get like a bird's eye view of us sailing. And so I had my GoPro in my hand, and he was like, okay, take the helm. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm taking the helm in my mind prematurely because I have something in my hand at the time. But, I take it. And so he's like, okay, point us into the wind because he's about to get up there and start hoisting the mainsail. And so I'm like, okay. And so I'm kind of like struggling already just to kind of turn the boat into the wind. Like, oh, this wind is like really strong today, which, I was expecting, but at the same time, I didn't know what that felt like. This was my first time experiencing 24 knots of wind, and I'm behind the helm. So I didn't know what to expect. But as I'm standing there and I'm just kind of like, I describe it as, I felt like shocked, like, oh, wow, this is really strong. Like I'm having to hold this wheel pretty tight just to kind of keep it where I wanted it. And that wasn't working. And so what's your perspective? Because you're up on the deck, so you have no idea what's going on with me down in the cockpit.
So, I guess it's windy, so even though you're within 30 feet of me, I really can't hear what you're saying. So communication is diminished. So I'm just up there putting up the sails.
Yeah, so yeah, that is also true because, so I've watched this video. Craig has not seen it. He kind of overheard me playing it here just a minute ago. But I've watched the video a couple of times now, and it's like I'm shouting. I'm literally shouting at him. He can't hear me. He's shouting at me. I can't hear him. And it's like I'm amazed that the GoPro was able to pick up both of our audio to where, playing it back and listening, oh, I can hear he's saying this. But at the time, I couldn't hear him. And at the time, he couldn't hear me. So communication was just not happening because it's loud, it's windy, we're kind of being whipped back and forth. And so basically, he's missing what I'm saying, I'm missing what he's saying. And that is not good at all when you're sailing. So then what happened?
I guess, I was up on the, top deck dealing with lines, and I guess there was a shift in wind or, changing course, and, I could hear that the sails had backwinded.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I hear that the wind has changed and the sail has backwinded, I know that the boom is going to move. So we got in an argument at that point because I felt like my safety was being jeopardized. So my wife's perspective was that she was unable to maintain the course due to the wind, and that's why the sail got backwinded. And I guess I was upset because I felt like she wasn't staying on the course. Mm-hmm. So I felt like in the past when there's a lot of wind, she doesn't want to go fast, so she'll turn off the course to slow the boat down, and that's what I felt she was doing at that time.
I don't want to interrupt you.
That was it.
Okay. So for me, I'm up here, I'm holding the helm, and I have my camera in my hand also. And like I said, it is recording, so I do have video of this, and I'll put it in there. I'll edit it in there some kind of way. But so I'm holding it, and so the view that you're getting, that the camera is getting, that you're going to be seeing, is right at the helm, like in my right hand. Like, so you can see the wind shift, you can see the boat, you can see my hand going down and trying to, pull it back up, but nothing's happening other than, so the wind knocks the boom like this, Craig ducks, like avoiding the boom, and like the boat just goes to its side and we start to
heels over.
Yeah, it heels over and we start to spin around. And so then at this point, you know, I have no control at all. Craig, of course, doesn't have control because he's up on the deck. And so we're just kind of like, he's yelling instructions at me and I'm yelling at him like, I can't stop it. I can't do anything. Like, I'm trying. And so, like, our communication was just, you know, we're missing each other. You know, he's trying to tell me to do one thing. I'm just like trying to really just hold on for dear life. Like, that's the way that I would describe it. As I've watched the video, it's like, as I put myself back in that moment, I was literally holding on. I'm trying to hold on to what I think is a little bit of control of the boat, but really I had none, because you'll see that the boat is just spinning around like this. So I'm trying to hold on to the helm to regain control of the boat, which I wasn't able to do. I'm trying to hold on to my camera also, which is in my hand. So obviously, like, that was not a good thing to even have the camera in my hand at that time. And really, I'm not knowing how this is going to end. In my mind, I was like, I don't want to die today, like on the lake. I don't want to die. I don't want to damage the boat. I don't want anything to happen to Craig. And like, the worst case scenarios are just playing out in my mind at this time. But, you know, when it was all said and done, so we did regain control of the boat. I don't know how. Like, I guess we just whipped around in a circle to where the wind wasn't as strong that direction. Slowly coming about. I'm trying not to slap you in the face with a sail.
That knot right there.
Oh my God. Okay, it's released. Greg?
Turn a little bit to starboard.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
No, stay. You don't have that. Oh, no, you can go back this way. I'll do it. You gotta turn.
Yes, I know. No control of the boat right now. None whatsoever. None. The boat is turning on its own. You come steer.
I gotta put the sail back up at this point.
Okay, don't put the sail back up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The jib is too much. I'm trying to tell you.
Let's stay towards those sailboats. I'll fix the jib. I'll put the jib back up.
Thank you. Goodness gracious, Craig.
I need to go back into the wind in order to take this all the way down.
Okay, what would you like me to do? Because really right now I'm losing control of the boat. There's so much wind. That's why I'm telling you.
Put the camera down and try and...
I would like for you to take over the helm. That's what I would like, because you're getting mad at me about something I have no control over. Zero control right now. I told you not to even open the jib. Craig! Whoa! Craig! Oh,
Okay,
process of doing all of this, like, we messed up our mainsail. It got all torn and tattered on the end. It's like ripped.
It didn't get all torn, you know. It was a section, you know, about the size of the cell phone, literally that shape.
Yeah.
That had ripped on like the bottom on the backside of the sail.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of damage to it. And then the real damage was we had damaged the furler
Mm-hmm.
when we were trying to pull the Genoa back in.
Mm-hmm. What?
Go back there. When we were pulling the Genoa back in, you know, it was so windy, you know, you couldn't do it by hand. And, you know, it was an old furler, which, you know, was already, you know, not working to the best of its ability. It's, you know, what it was, they don't even make that furler anymore.
They don't even make those anymore.
It was, CDI reefer or?
It was definitely a reefer. We have a CDI though.
Okay.
When we replaced it,
I think it was an old CDI
Gotcha.
reefer. And, you know, they don't make that furler anymore. But the drum, okay, well, so it's so much wind that we can't pull it in by hand. So I put it on the winch. And, you know, I was able to start pulling it in. And, you know, since there's so much wind on the sail, the Genoa is rolling up tighter than it normally would.
Tight. Yeah.
So we ran out of line to the furler, and the knot that goes into the drum on the furler, it pulled through the plastic and busted a big hole in the drum. And, you know, then I had to go up there and I had to roll it up by hand. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was an expensive lesson because, like I said, they don't make that particular furler anymore, and, you know, finding parts for it is hard. Yeah. And, you know, if you do find parts, you know, people know that they don't make it anymore, so they want
an arm leg.
top dollar for it. So
yeah,
we decided to just get a newer furler, which the new furler, it rolls in, rolls out, no problem.
Very nice.
It's not a whole lot of effort. You know, the old furler, the reefer, it seemed like, I don't know, like it needed to be. They needed some WD-40 or some
oiled or something,
like greased or something. It seemed like it needed some grease because there was friction in how it turned. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the new furler was not cheap, and then
installation on top of that.
The new furler was not cheap, and then when we changed the furler, we decided to get rid of the blue umbrella that was on the Genoa, mm-hmm. and get a light gray umbrella. So, you know, that was even more money, which, you know, it didn't need to be done, but, you know.
I mean, why not if you're doing it?
We were fixing the other sail, like I said, you know, a piece about the size of the cell phone that ripped on the bottom, and, you know, this piece is just kind of flapping. So they restitched it, and, you know, it looks fine now.
Yeah. So that was a very expensive lesson. And I would say, you know, when it really comes down to it, thank God neither of us got hurt. Neither of us even went overboard, which, you know, it was very windy and choppy out there, and neither one of us were wearing life vests.
It wasn't real choppy.
To me, it was choppy.
It was real windy, but, you know, like the lake that we're on now.
Oh, yeah.
The lake we're on now.
Well, by comparison to that.
Ocean choppy.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, when you put it that way, then I guess it really wasn't choppy, because the lake that we're on now is definitely ocean choppy. Mm-hmm. But it was super windy out there. Neither one of us were wearing a vest. Thank God neither of us went over. Craig didn't get hit by the boom. We didn't, damage the sailboat beyond repair. We were able to get back into the slip safely.
Well, I think that was just, being aware of my surroundings, even though I'm doing something, just noticing the change in the wind. And, I try and have one hand for me and one hand for the boat as far as, holding on to something so I don't go overboard, and then, using the other hand to do my task, even if I've got, a front stay or back stay or a shroud in my little chicken wing right here, and
okay, chicken wing.
work with both hands, just anything can change at a moment's notice. So, I think
24 knots is not forgiving.
I think things could have been different if I wasn't aware of the changes happening, because I was aware of the wind changing before the boom even moved.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Which I'm really glad, because, I would hate to, be at fault for injuring my husband, since I'm the one behind the helm. Technically I'm in control of the boat, or I'm supposed to be, but yeah, I'm just glad neither of us got injured and we didn't damage the sailboat beyond repair. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Anything else from you?
No.
All right.